Now that we're having a baby, I, F23, am realizing that my husband, M29, might not be a good husband and father. Ever since I got pregnant, my husband has been a different man. He's been wanting more sex, but at the same time is becoming more and more distant from me and the kids. It's like sex is the only reason he acknowledges me, but it's not the sweet loving sex anymore either. He's been rougher even though I'm 33 weeks pregnant and more tired. Me saying that I don't want to have sex just creates fights. Every time I say something, I get reminded that I don't work and he makes all the money. Which is true, but at the same time he's the one who asked me to quit my job since I wasn't making that much anyway and just stay home with the kids. 4-year-old twins he had in a previous relationship and got full custody of, to avoid daycare bills. He used to be so caring with the kids and now he ignores them. If he's in the middle of trying to have sex, he won't care if the kids are crying outside of the room and just keeps doing his thing even when I ask him to stop so I can go check on them. And when he's not wanting sex, he just goes to the basement to play video games and watch TV, but then will yell if food is not ready or the house isn't clean. He won't help feeding or bathing the kids or even just cleaning. We've been together for 3 years total and I don't understand why he's changing now that we're going to have a baby. He scares me sometimes and I don't know if I really want to raise a baby with him anymore. Any advice? You're his nanny and plaything, nothing more. He isn't going to talk about your issues because he doesn't care about your issues. When he got you pregnant, he secured childcare for his other kids. I would start putting money aside as a backup plan so you can get out. From your description it sounds like it will be more pleasant to be a single mother than staying with your husband. You'll be doing all the work anyway. I'm really thinking about it honestly. He scares me sometimes. Please listen to your intuition. So you two get married, then he tells you to quit your job for financial reasons, leaving you with no income, since it sounds like he feels all the money is his. Then he tells you you two should have a baby, which is a big commitment, often locks people into a relationship, and requires money which he has, and you don't. Then, once you're pregnant, fully locked into this relationship, and lacking resources to leave, he starts to get selfish, demanding, and mean. Am I on track so far? Suspicions my 30/F sister is being catfished/trafficked or something more sinister. Hi, my sister has supposedly met a guy via online dating and met him in person a grand total of 2 to 3 times. The guy is meant to be a millionaire with penthouses and such, but anytime arrangements are made for them to meet he always comes up with an excuse and never meets my sister. He has been ill, in hospital, stuck in traffic, staying an extra night in a hotel, etc. These are all excuses that have been used so far. Now, the part I find very sinister is my sister has been meeting up with the guy's so-called sister, when she should actually be meeting with the boyfriend, but he cancels last minute, so my sister apparently drives around town with the sister and never meets the boyfriend. The sister was meant to take my sister to his penthouse one day, but she got lost and didn't know how to find the place, so they never ended up going. Now why on earth wouldn't you just call the boyfriend and ask for the address? And more importantly, if you are the sister you should surely know where your own brother stays in his penthouse. There is something not sitting right with me. My mum has tried to speak with my sister but she becomes defensive and can't see the valid points we are making. I'm just highly concerned something is going on, i.e. catfishing for monetary reasons, sex trafficking, or something even worse. My sister is a very good looking 30F with blonde hair. She gets a lot of looks, so I'm even more suspicious. Edit, I should also point out this so-called guy wants to marry her. It's only been a few weeks and my sister has told us she has physically met this guy in person, but something seems bizarre that he continues to make excuse after excuse and meets with the sister instead. If I was dating somebody I would want to spend my time with them and not their sibling. Update the 31st of December 2020, Hi everyone, I was blown away by the amount of responses to this very serious matter and I am humbled at all of the suggestions etc. I'd just like to update everyone on the current situation. I had mentioned I would like to speak with my sister after the new year to make sure she is safe and all is well with this new boyfriend. Instead I got a barrage of hate and anger back from my sister and she has told me to piss off along with everyone else who has been asking questions about this new relationship. She has become so defensive and has fell out with her best friend, now me, my mum and anyone else who cares enough to ask questions. She has failed to see any red flags and instead told us all to butt out of her life and not worry about her. She said she is perfectly happy and the only thing bothering her is all the people asking questions about this relationship, i.e. the people who care for her the most. She can't see that we actually do care and instead sees us all as a burden in her life who are attacking her. The reality is she is the one who cannot see the red flags. Whether this is due to being love blind or something else I'll never know. I mentioned to her some of the signs I have seen, such as rushing into a marriage, not being able to locate his own penthouse, always flaking on plans last minute, always meeting the sister in place of him etc. But she just became super defensive and told us to mind our business. I am beyond stumped at how stupid my sister can be. It is blatantly obvious you have an issue and you are the problem when family and friends are approaching you with the same concerns. Instead we have been shunted to the side and told to stay out of her business. So on that note I am clueless as to what to do next. Of course I am still very uneasy at the whole situation because we know nothing more of this mysterious so-called boyfriend. Whatever this is, it got all the signs of a classical con. You have the sister relation. Someone the target, your sister, can relate to. Maybe something like I am a woman and she is a woman. We are both in proximity to this guy and she is safe, ergo I am safe. The wealth. Penthouses, he being a millionaire. Grand and flashy proof of wealth. This can be used for monetary scams. The grooming. Gaslighting and forced to accept a certain normal. The guy is rarely available, and your sister gets used to driving around town with the relation, his sister, fruitlessly. Future promises. Marriage, happy life. This ties into the grandiose displays of wealth, and it plays on the target's greed or selfishness. If I marry this guy, I will have his wealth too. With some assumptions and deductions, this is most likely a monetary con. A sister will arrange for travel to somewhere, and your sister will have to cover for the journey to get there. Meet me Australia so we can get married. I'll pay you back the 3k USD ticket. Just give the money to my sister and she will arrange everything. Then she never hears from either of them again. Worst case, same as above but with sex trafficking or organ theft and your sister ends up trapped abroad somewhere. Not really likely though. She could be lying about having met him in order to throw suspicion off of him / trying to defend him. Vastly different situation, but for example I met my ex online and started a long-distance relationship with him. When my parents found out, they were super suspicious so I lied about having met him in person to throw any suspicion off. When stories like this come up, it's very possible the catfish is the girl that your sister is spending time with. As for having actually met the guy, that can also be attributed to some guy being a friend of the girl who is willing to help the scam, or a group of catfishing people who work together to allay suspicions while continuing to scam the victim, prepare for possible abduction for sex trafficking, etc. An example would be that rather than actually abduct and create a law enforcement situation less than 24 hours later, they just need to get her to trust them and she willingly goes with them to some other undisclosed location / country. You all think she's on vacation in some other place while she's now in trouble, and you don't initiate anything until some future time when you finally realize, something's not right, you can't get in touch with her, you don't know where she is, etc. In addition, check if they've actually spoken on the phone or even better, video called. He could be a completely fictional character. If possible, reverse image search his photos too. 100% the scammer isn't millionaire looking for a date, that's for sure. The thing is, she has told us she has met him in person a couple of times. It still seems bizarre that he will make excuse after excuse that he can't meet up, and instead she meets with the so-called sister. If I was dating someone, I would want to spend my time with them and not their sibling. I would tone down your suspicions when I talk to her. Don't tell her you think he's human trafficking or doing something sinister. She thinks you are suspicious of her boyfriend, so she isn't opening up to you. No, I'll get downvoted, but maybe you could feign support in favor of getting more qualifying details. Either way, hire a private investigator. She shouldn't even be meeting up with the sibling if this is a real threat. They could be drugging her. Not having sex is making my boyfriend more affectionate with me. For just over a month now, me and my boyfriend of 1 year have been going through a sexual dry spell. This lack of sex is not due to us being uninterested. We are both very much attracted to each other. We aren't having sex because about 8 months ago I got the Nexplanon implant, and the past month I have been experiencing heavy period bleeding every day, and neither of us are into period sex. Before this dry spell, my boyfriend wasn't necessarily the most affectionate person. He would only compliment every once in a rare while, and he's never been big into hand-holding or cuddling. The past couple weeks, however, he has been all over me, which I love. He will hold my hand while we are watching a movie, and at night we cuddle for hours before falling asleep. He also compliments me daily and keeps saying how he wants to be with me forever. Now, I absolutely love this change, but I am confused on where it came from. Does not having sex sometimes actually make the relationship stronger? I adore our bond right now, and even though we both discuss how much we miss having sex, I worry that he will go back to his old self once we are able to get intimate again. I experienced very heavy bleeding when I got the implant. I talked to my doctor and he prescribed me estrogen pills to take for about 2 weeks and the bleeding stopped. Hope this helps. May I ask your age? I'm 22 and my doctor about pills. Last time I was concerned about the bleeding, but they said that I'm too young and they only prescribe estrogen to older women. Seems like your boyfriend's love language is physical touch. Sometimes that comes out in sex. I imagine sex with him is usually a very intimate thing too. Probably always feels so deep and personal. I guarantee you he doesn't even realize it and is just finding other ways of expressing it. I will definitely have to read up on love languages as I truthfully know very little about them. Thank you. Hi, I just wanted to add, I've been using Nexplanon for over 3 years now and have experienced a lot of breakthrough bleeding. If you didn't know, you are able to stop the bleeding, at least temporarily, with low-dose estrogen or a secondary oral birth control. I have to be on it permanently due to my endometriosis, but a lot of women chose to have it removed due to the bleeding. Secondary BC has worked somewhat well. I've only been on it for a few weeks, but it does cause intermittent light spotting for the first 3 months. Also wanted to add, if you have any questions about it or other options, feel free to PM me. Sounds like your boyfriend found a different way to show you affection and intimacy. Maybe things go back to normal once you all have sex again. I think y'all should have a talk about the changes, and how it makes you feel. Validate him and let him know you appreciate the effort he puts into y'all's relationship. It sounds like to me that your BF used sex as a way to connect to you intimately and emotionally, and now without that he's using different ways to connect with you. I didn't consider this, thank you. Hopefully once I'm back to normal we can merge the two together.